War. On my social media, I don't see anything about war. Absolutely nothing. However, when someone from the outside comes here, the first thing they talk about and the first thing on their phone is some video or something about war. And I don't have any information because I'm not exposed to it for some reason. Then therefore I have nothing to say. So I don't respond, I just listen. And the person speaking figures out that, well, he's not interested, and they stop talking about it. But my cousin was here yesterday, and he doesn't care whether or not I'm interested. He's gonna say what he's gotta say. And he's been not here for about a couple of months. He's only came by one time. Now my cousin is my business partner here. He does the maintenance, and there's lots of stuff to do, little things to do. And I'm patient because he's not being paid. Well, he is, but he's not paid directly. He's paid based on the business, doing well. And there's a lot of stuff to get done before, we can consider it as doing well, because the business has to pay for all that stuff. So I'm buying the materials and stuff, and he does the work. However, he hasn't been here to do it, and I'm patient. But I realize how patient I am now, because it's been about 2 months, and he's only been here once. He did a little bit of work, and I hadn't seen him again. Now he says he has time now, so he's gonna be around for the next week or so, and he's gonna do some stuff. And because of that, now he's also talking, and he's talking about the war. My other cousin also talks about the war a lot, but the thing is that I was ignoring him because he's not supporting America. He's really into Russia and China. All he talks about is, yeah man, Russia and China, Mr. Chin. Jamaicans love Chinese because China is a very big part of this island. When I was growing up as a kid, there was Chinese Jamaicans and there's black Jamaicans. There's Indians too, but the Indians are not. The Indians are very closed to society, like unless it's original Jamaican Indians. But you see, Indians from overseas, they're very into themselves, whereas Chinese are very Jamaican, so as far as Chinese Jamaicans, they're very Jamaican. So and there's a lot of them, especially now that there's a lot of construction going on the island, and a lot of that is Chinese. So Jamaican people will definitely support China first. And also, on what is being said about America is that they are baby eaters and child molesters. That's what is being seen from the bird's eye view of what is America right now. Baby eaters and child molesters, right? So then my cousin is here, and on his phone there's all this stuff about war and missiles flying and things hitting stuff. And he says, he's been doing a lot of construction and farming. So what he does is he does construction work because of all the rebuilding going on that's happening from the Hurricane Melissa, and he makes money, and he pays guys to work on his farm. So he's maxing out his farm. So he's been busy with all of that. Another guy that comes here that works with me on the farm says recently that, man, every night there's a party now. Like usually back in the day, or before Melissa, let's say, it was on the weekends. But now every night there's a party. Lots of drinking, lots of money being spent, because there's a lot of money being earned by reconstruction. And the government's spending a lot of money. Individual people are spending a lot of money on constructing their homes and everything. So there's lots of money and a lot of partying going on. So, and then the American that I speak to, yesterday said that they received a report or a warning that Iran's gonna strike California with drone strikes. Now, I was like, well, it doesn't make sense for Iran to attack American people, because I don't think the government cares that much about American people being hurt. I think if you want, obviously the only way to hurt America or bring an end to the war is to hit the AI data centers, because right now that's where all the money's being spent. They're not protected. And it'll be real if as far as influence goes, if it's the tech guys and the tech companies who have all the influence, then you want to hit those guys. You want to hit the data centers and forget about messing with people, or even forget about war targets. Hit the data centers, and the war speeds up as far as resolved, being resolved in a sense, right? Because I think if the tech guys want to bring it to us and say, look, no, we can't have that, no, no, then that's a quick way to bring things to an end point, right? So I woke up just now after a really good sleep, and I'm dreaming. Dreaming about I was dreaming about war, but there were struggles going on in the dream. And the dream, and I woke up and I was like, okay, I have war on my mind, and I have data centers, and I hear music when I went to go look for the camera stand. I heard music, and there's parties going on. So let me turn on the camera and suss this out so I can go back to sleep. Yeah, so the Hurricane Melissa seemed to me, or now from a bird's eye view, everyone talks about Melissa now, like it's a blessing. It was a blessing. Number one, because hardly anyone died. The death toll was really low on that. It was very terrifying and very scary, but the after effect has been positive. Whereas everyone's glad to be doing construction and rebuilding their homes. I'm happy about what happened to the farm. It just got completely deleted, and I had to bring it back. It felt like a really exciting mission for me to bring the farm back from zero to where it's at right now, which is 100, well, almost 90, 95, right? 95%, which is, call it 100, right? So for Jamaica, it's been such a positive after effect from the hurricane that, in the beginning, there was this speculation or talk that say, they made this hurricane because there was no lightning and no thunder. It seemed like artificial hurricane. And my response was always, I'm not going to give human beings that much power. I'm going to say that if the hurricane was created, it was created by the island itself, spawned as a means of escaping, leaving, because it's a spiral. And my experience is that that spiral spawned right down the street from me and headed straight towards where I am, directly at me, and nothing happened here, I mean, not much. And then the spirit or the vibe of the island is like Jamaica picked itself up and left. And now all that we're seeing is the after effect of wars going on. And on the island, there's parties and reconstruction. It's like the island's being rebuilt to. Oh, another thing that happened recently is Jamaica and Cuba separated as far as like their relationship because of America insisted, and that's another version of Jamaica, and of Jamaica leaving the rest of the world behind. As far as even Cuba is now like right there, not right there next to us, and we're leaving Cuba behind. And so it's like Jamaica is like, yeah, this really goes along with the whole AI Villa, AI Villa frequency thing, right? Like I could really tie AI Villa frequency as far as it being a form of technology. So it begins with Melissa Hurricane as far as wings. The spiral is like a wing spiral that takes the island and says, okay, let's get out of here. And then what's left behind? Wars. And I'm going to say that the quickest way to bring the war to a resolution is to target data centers, not people. In fact, the people are like a drain on the system, whereas the data centers are where all the money and focus is going. So yeah, I mean, and they're unprotected. So yeah, and I think that's really all I wanted to say. I mean, that's like that point right there is what gets me back in my bed and back to dreaming about non-struggles, non-struggles, and that's great. Also, right now there's an American at the villa he never speaks about the war at all, but he does talk about the fact that he wants to be here for the rest of his life, and he's like dead set on that. I don't know if the war has anything to do with it. I think it doesn't. Maybe he just has a deep love, but I think maybe even if not consciously, subconsciously, the war might have something to do with it. And maybe the baby eaters, child molesters thing. Yo, the child molesters thing is serious though, because I saw a video the other day, and it showed a map of the United States, and on the map was like 300,000 red dots spread across the United States, and it says these are indications of child porn being traded, and it's like red. It's like the whole entire place is red from that, and I'm like, wow, I was never exposed to anything like that. My time in America, nothing like that. So it's hard for me personally to see it and believe it as true, but hey, you know what I mean? It's a narrative that's out there and it's been out there for a while, and anyone who chooses to believe it, you're not, no, it's easy, it's an easy thing to not support baby eaters and child molesters. It's like, if you're thinking about it in biblical terms, and there's a, and you look at it and say, okay, so who should I support? America, China, or Russia? And, you know, morally, if you're gonna go with the narrative of what's going on, then it's hard to support America in that sense, you know? So, and I feel sad, and I feel like, wow, that's messed up, but it is what it is. And King Clavicular, you know, right? You know, I see also that, set aside the war stuff, right? Let's say the war ends, because once America realized that data centers are in trouble, it said, you know, we're gonna stop this. We can't afford to have the data centers. We need to stop right now. And so then AI produces, and AI gets good, and all the dreams come true as far as AI taking over and making everyone fruitful. And then I think at that point, let's say 5 years from now, AI has control of everything, and then kings and queens can come. Well, kings, I don't know about queens. Kings can come in back, as far as people can do whatever they want. And if someone wants to call themselves a king and have 50 children with the name King Clavicular, hey man, I see that as an actual reality that's possible. And that's what I'm rooting for at this point, you know? You know what I mean? Someone, and of course, you know, those kids are protected for sure, right? I mean, I really don't believe the child molester thing. I just can't believe that. I choose not to believe that. I don't want to live in a world where that's actually true. So I'm gonna not, and I'm glad I'm beyond it, because I don't have any kids that are in danger, right? So that's another reason why I can move beyond that whole thing right there. Yeah. Yeah. So to summarize, nah, I'm not gonna summarize this one. Bye, Felisa. Bye, Felisa. Bye, Melissa. You know that bye, Felicia. Instead of saying bye, Felicia, I'll say bye, Melissa, which is like saying Melissa saying bye, y'all. We out of here.